France ready to send troops. Europe gears up for possible deployment to Ukraine. Russian balloons, bold threats and blame games. That's in our The Latest, so you will be in focus. Subscribe and stay tuned. French forces are ready to deploy forces within the framework of security guarantees, if necessary, in support of Ukraine. This statement was made at a meeting of the National Assembly's Defense Committee by the Chief of Staff of the French Army, Pierre Chil. France is preparing for a year of coalitions in 2026, which will involve a more active role in international conflicts. During the Orient 26 exercises, new concepts for joining use of forces across different military branches and with allies will be tested, including the potential deployment to Ukraine. The aid from the UK and France is on the way to expand Ukraine's long-range capabilities. Ukraine already is actively enhancing its defense. The Octopus interceptor drone, the Hunter air defense systems, in collaboration with NATO. Watch for more about all that in our next report.
Enhancing the long-range capabilities of Ukraine's military could halt Russia's campaign of terror. This is the firm belief of Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha. He argues that the Kremlin must be deprived of its means of terror by targeting its military-industrial complex and missile launch sites, which relentlessly attack Ukraine daily.
No one in the world wants this war to continue except Russia. Absurdly, this country is currently chairing the UN Security Council in October 2025, despite its very presence in the council being unlawful. Andriy Sybiha, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, on Telegram.
Russia has intensified its attacks on Ukrainian cities with guided aerial bombs. On October 24th, such weapons were used for the first time against Odessa region. On October 25th, jet-powered guided bombs struck Kamyansky in Dnipropetrovsk region for the first time. Countering these weapons is extremely challenging. However, Ukraine will soon receive a new solution to combat Russian guided bombs, developed in collaboration with NATO, according to Ukraine's Ministry of Defense. A comprehensive technical solution, consisting of a radar, AI-based software, and an interceptor drone, was recently tested in France under adverse weather conditions.
The simulated enemy target was identified, tracked, and engaged by a radar equipped with an advanced sensor system. Subsequently, an AI-based software guided the interceptor drone along a pre-calculated trajectory to neutralize the target. From the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense.
The United Kingdom has pledged 5,000 new multi-purpose missiles to bolster Ukraine's air defense. London is expanding its production program for these weapons to supply them to Ukraine. This was announced by UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer during the Coalition of the Willing Summit. He also emphasized that the UK will help Ukraine endure the upcoming winter.
Ukraine's future is the future of us all. The coming months will be a critical time for the security of not only Ukraine, but also our partners, allies, and the United Kingdom. We must keep pressure on Putin to bring him to the negotiating table. Keir Starmer, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
The provision of Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine is still under consideration by U.S. President Donald Trump, according to NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, who made this statement during the Coalition of the Willing meeting in London. Rutte firmly believes Ukraine has the right to strike deep into Russia to defend itself. He also highlighted Russia's significant battlefield losses and stressed that now is the time to increase pressure on Moscow.
In Ukraine, Putin is achieving marginal gains at an enormous cost. His reckless war is killing hundreds of thousands of Russians. Meanwhile, Ukraine remains resilient, and Western support is making a difference. The truth is, Putin is running out of money, ideas, and soldiers. President Trump rightly said they need to stop where they are now. This is the moment to intensify pressure on Russia to secure a just peace for Ukraine. Mark Rutte, Secretary General of NATO.
France is preparing to supply Kyiv with additional Aster missiles for SAMP/T air defense systems and Mirage 2000 fighter jets, announced French President Emmanuel Macron.
We must continue to strengthen our military support for Ukraine, air defense systems, long-range capabilities, drones, and anti-drone systems. Emmanuel Macron, President of France.
Since the beginning of the year, Russia has launched nearly 770 ballistic missiles and over 50 Kinzhal missiles at Ukraine, according to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Ukraine is ready to protect its skies with domestically designed weapons. During a meeting with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Zelensky showcased the Ukrainian-designed Octopus interceptor drone, which will be mass-produced in the UK, aiming for thousands of units per month for delivery to Ukraine. Developed with support from British scientists and technicians, the drone has already proven proven effective on the battlefield, according to the UK government. Reported by Victoria Chistiukina, UATV News.
I think the Finnish authorities made a mistake. The foreign minister of the aggressor state, Russia, Sergei Lavrov, is convinced that neighboring Finland made a mistake by joining NATO. Stubb was a smart person. We had excellent personal and good professional relations, the Russian foreign minister said in an interview with a Hungarian media outlet. Then, after the start of Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine, Finland's leadership, according to Lavrov, fell into nostalgia for the times when they supposedly helped Germany defeat Russia during World War II. Meanwhile, Finnish President Alexander Stubb has warned European allies about attempts by Russian lobbyists at various levels to influence the US President Donald Trump. Russia continues to interfere with the territories of other states, not only with words. New incidents in Lithuania's airspace, weather balloons from Belarus, forced the authorities to temporarily close border checkpoints with the Belarusian side and the capital's airport. Now the country's prime minister is convening the National Security Commission. How Europe is responding to Russian provocations, more in the report by Nikita Skoblikov.
Lithuania temporarily closed its border with Belarus for several hours and halted operations at the capital's airport. The reason was suspicion that weather balloons, possibly launched from Belarus, had entered Lithuanian airspace, according to the National Crisis Management Center. Such balloons have previously been used to smuggle cigarettes. This time, the potential threat prompted swift action. All border checkpoints on the Lithuanian-Belarusian border were closed from 10:45 p.m. to 2 a.m.
When we talk about smuggling, particularly in the Baltic states, these balloons are part of an old business run by Lukashenko, involving the sale of Belarusian cigarettes on European and even Russian markets. Now, with drones and balloons, the question is how the Baltic states will respond. Scrambling a fighter jet for a balloon would be costly.
This was the second incident in a week involving weather balloons violating Lithuanian airspace. Just days earlier, on October 23rd, two Russian military aircraft, a Su-30 and an Il-78, entered Lithuanian skies. According to the Lithuanian Air Force, the planes were likely conducting mid-air refueling. Nevertheless, Vilnius authorities took the incident seriously, with the Prime Minister announcing a meeting of the National Security Commission.
I am convening a meeting of the National Security Commission on Monday morning to discuss an action plan and next steps. I ask for everyone's patience. I understand the inconvenience and concern, but we are acting in the interest of your safety. We are responding calmly and confidently. Closing the borders is a signal that we will not tolerate any violations. Inga Ruginieni, Prime Minister of Lithuania, on Facebook.
Since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Europe has faced an increase in Kremlin-led hybrid attacks. In addition to pressure through migrant flows and cyber attacks, unidentified drones are now increasingly reported. Following a high-profile incident in Poland on September 10th, when Russian drones entered its airspace, other European countries have also faced aerial provocations. Governments have been forced to temporarily close airports, with at least 15 such facilities halting operations in September 2025 alone. The European Parliament, in its resolution on October 8th, directly pointed to the Russian Federation's involvement in these incidents.
Without directly using military forces or deploying troops near their borders, they use remote capabilities to divert our partners' attention and resources to internal issues and irrelevant targets, thereby distracting them from the war in Ukraine and reducing the level of support provided.
Ukraine's main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense is certain that Russia's hybrid war against Europe pursues three key objectives. In an interview with an Italian newspaper, the chief of Ukraine's main intelligence directorate described these actions as reconnaissance by combat in military terms. He noted that one goal is psychological, aimed primarily at Russia's domestic audience. However, there are other factors at play.
The Russians are testing your reactions, your decision-making capabilities, and your readiness to use force. At the same time, they conduct reconnaissance, identifying your systems, how they operate, and where they are located. For them, it's a double benefit. If you, Europeans, grow weary of the war, the aid flowing to Ukraine will diminish. Meanwhile, the Russians sow the idea among European nations that it's not worth going to war with Russia. This isn't my opinion, it's the Russian perspective. Kirilo Budanov, chief of the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine, in an interview with Il Foglio,
Nevertheless, European countries, particularly NATO members, are prepared to counter Russian threats. Next year, Sweden will deploy a battalion equipped with anti-aircraft artillery combat vehicles to Latvia, according to the Latvian Ministry of Defense. The primary task of these air defense units is to enhance the capability to detect and neutralize aerial targets, including drones and helicopters, at a tactical level in the Baltic region. Reported by Nikita Skoblikov, UATV News.
What's your take on all this? Share your thoughts below. This is UATV. Stay sharp, in focus, and stay safe.